so many apps on my phone. When I got a new phone at the Verizon store, the gal said, "Oh, you got a lot of apps." Like, that's how many apps I have.
I have that many, but I got a lot.
No. You have a lot of categories. He has boxes full of apps. Like, this guy's the most apps I've ever seen.
That's what I have.
Y'all should,
I'm
after this episode, we are going to see what's
I want to hug this out. I want to hug it.
We're going to post this on the comment section. Who wins the most apps?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got, but I'm telling you, man, he's got a whole shit.
I got it all organized.
And I heard this morning on today's show.
So we are back at my Terrebonne Distillery. This week on Between the Barrels, we have Mr. Chris Pulaski here, who is the director of
Planning and Zoning.
Planning and Zoning.
Well, I meant to give you my card.
Yeah, thank you.
So
very good.
That way you don't. Now say the
don't give out
title.
the phone numbers, though.
I'm not going to give out the phone numbers, but Mr. Chris here is the director of Planning and Zoning for Terrebonne Parish. Thank you very much, sir.
Appreciate you joining us.
And I really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us today. First of all, like I'd like to open it up is, who are you? What do you do?
Well, as you can tell from my last name, I'm Cajun all the way.
Yeah.
You must be from Dulac or something, right? I mean, where are you from?
Is that from Montague?
We moved here in 1981. And the first person I ever met when I moved to Houma is actually in this room right now.
Really?
Yeah, the soon-to-be elected Timmy Ellender Jr.
Wow.
He sat in this chair and told us great stories for a while, and it was funny, and we had a good time. And
So in 1981 we moved here, and even in those days, I was big on riding a bike because when I lived in Alexandria, that's where we moved from. In the 3rd grade and halfway through the 4th grade, I rode my bike to school, and I went to a Catholic school in Alexandria, and it was a good, probably 2-mile bike ride.
That's a solid hike.
Yeah, and of course this is 70 or 80 and 81. Things are obviously a lot different now.
You could ride your bike then.
But when I moved here, we moved on Southern, at the other end of the block from Legion Pool, and so I was planning on riding my bike from Southern to school, and no one ever gave me any info on that. I just did it.
Yeah, that's what you do.
And so the first day, I showed up with my bike, and I looked at the bike rack, and there were no other bikes. And I was the only one. And so not only am I the new kid in town, with glasses and the whole whatever, but I'm also the only one who rode on a bike. And so I'm the nerd who rode his bike to school. So I felt like crazy, like I'm on a bus, to go. Like by the time I go out and wait for the bus and all that, I could have rode my bike 10 times.
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess I was a conformist or whatever, and I had to fit in those days.
Yeah.
But to this day, now I'm back. After I graduated high school and moved to Fort Lauderdale, moved to Denver. So I was gone for roughly about 16 years. And so when I came back having had those experiences of living in those other places and saw, of course, what we had there, and in some instances was intimately involved in having those things happen. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, not enough people riding their bikes around here, so I'm working on that. We just, all those bike racks that you see downtown.
They got the nice etched, it says
That's
Houma.
right.
It looks real nice.
Yeah.
So what kind of is your day-to-day operations as of what you do?
Like a typical day.
My degree was in landscape architecture, and I graduated LSU in '96. Go Tigers. And LSU has had consistently one of the top-ranked landscape architecture programs in the country for years.
That's awesome.
It's an amazing group of professors. A lot of them are Louisiana, but were also educated in Harvard and all these great and wonderful places, so they bring that back. My beginning of my career was involved mainly in beach and island resort and hospitality stuff, but when I moved back to Houma in 2009, I was working for the National Wildlife Federation for coastal restoration advocacy and things like that.
Wetlands.
Right.
That's
And I moved back because I fell in love with my, wife, Melissa, and
Cajun woman.
Cajun woman.
There you go,
She's
bro.
a lark, so she's a roam, a lark, so she's all homo, right? And but like I said, there were no landscape architecture firms, so I did that, and I kind of made a niche for myself in the non-structural. I know I'm getting a little wordy and technical, but the non-structural flood protection.
I'll Google it.
Which means basically everything that we do in this part of the world except for levees.
Right.
So the restoration of the marsh, elevating homes, land use planning, putting the right thing in the right place,
Very
all those
important
kinds of
stuff.
things. So that sort of kind of led me towards this position. And then kind of what really pushed me over the edge was I was advocating for a skate park. And so I was showing up at council meetings with
One
my
by the city
stepsons.
center?
Yeah,
Is that the one?
with my
advocating
stepsons.
for it.
Yeah.
I'm not the first. I mean,
Right.
Monty Collins and Neil Piku and those guys, I got to give them, props for their early work. Whenever I started showing up at council meetings and my stepsons were into bikes and
Yeah.
and,
They like doing
and
that.
scooters and I would show up with my skateboard. And
pretty
so
cool.
finally I bugged Claude long enough to where he just said, okay, what do you need?
What does
to
it
get-
take?
How
yeah.
much is it going to take?
And the council too, they're like, Pulaski, what is it going to take to get you to quit showing up at these meetings? After one of the meetings, the senior planner at the time, Jennifer Robinson, told me that her husband had just gotten transferred to Alaska. He was with an oil and gas company. And so she was leaving, and she said, you should think about applying for my job, because she knew my background.
Right.
And so I did, and Pat Gordon, who was planning director at the time, hired me, and it didn't take but a few seconds for him to tell me, like, well, one of your biggest projects is going to be the skate park. So I knew right then and there, okay, well, I get to make sure this thing gets
It's
done
done
right.
right. Done right.
And it took me a while. I mean, I got hired in late 2011, and then we opened that park in 2015.
It's very nice, and it's
It's
like
one of the top
state-of-the-art.
parks.
It's state of the art.
Yeah. I mean, it's $1 million skate park.
It's very
because it is $1 million.
anybody
I brought my
that's
kids over
gone
there.
and seen it, they need to go check it out because it's
Right.
really cool, and it's something awesome for the kids to go.
Right.
Give them something to do. I mean, it's
Well,
really cool.
what I always thought was kind of ironic, if that's the proper use of the term, but on the one hand, we're having these discussions at the council about having a skate park and the need for this, that, and the other, and then they also outlawed skating on public
Right.
sidewalks and stuff like that.
No avenue for the kids to
It's
go.
like, well, so you're not giving them a skate park, but
And
you're
taking
outlawing
away
it here.
everywhere they
Like,
could skate. So what do you want them to do?
like, stay in the driveway, guys. No,
Right.
that's not going to work. So finally, the council, saw the light, and we did it. And look, I mean, it wasn't just the council and the administration at that time, President Claude, but the current parish president, my boss, Gordy Dove. I mean, he was state rep, of course, at the time,
Right.
and then Norby Chabert. So it took capital outlay money. I mean, I remember that Claude and the council earmarked roughly about $700,000 for that park, and then I remember I was at the Rouse's one day, and I got a call from Norby, and when you get a call from Norby, you answer that one, even if you're grocery shopping. And
prepare
and he
to
said,
get the phone
Pulaski,
call.
I want to talk to you about that skate park. He said, if I can get you $300,000 in capital outlay, what is that going to get me? I said, well, Mr. Chabert, that's going to get you $1 million skate park. And so that's what we have.
That's awesome.
It's great.
They got lockers up there. You can put your
Yeah.
stuff in. I mean,
It's
it's
really
state
cool.
of the art.
And we're about to.
I don't skate, obviously, but
Get out there.
I'd
Get
kill
out of
myself.
here. I seen you on a
I'd
skateboard
kill myself. But it's pretty cool.
well, you can ride bikes there too.
I can.
or
I
scooters.
might,
Like
I might do
scooters.
like a little kick, a little bunny
jump,
hop.
yeah.
A little bunny hop.
they got like rails and all. You could ride on the bunny wheels.
Even on Sunday mornings, Monty and the guys, they call it Old Balls Sunday. And so Old Balls Sunday is early Sunday morning. You see these guys that are in their 40s, or up. And I'm telling you, they are ripping it. I mean, some of them are getting 3 or all wheels out of the bowl. I mean, it's
really
it's some real deal stuff. Remember when they came to Waterland USA when Steve Caballero, Lance Mountain,
USA, what a
Rodney
blast.
Mullen. Yeah, Tony Hawk was the only one who didn't come. Right. It was Bones Brigade was the tour, and it's like that.
So it's not just for the kids, and like you said, it's good for everybody to use. So it's something important for this area. It gives you an outlet.
Right.
Gives you
If I would
something
like
to do.
to go, I'd go, but I'm gonna kill myself.
I mean, aside from me being annoying at council meetings, I think one of the things that really made that happen was we had a plan. So before I got the council to commit, well, I say I, but before the council agreed to commit, I at least got the parish president and the planning director to agree to spend a little bit of money to hire a consultant to do the design work.
Right.
Which is always important.
And to their credit, the Planos Design Group, they did a lot of it pro bono. And Kyle Domingue and those guys are exceptional.
Excellent. Kyle's real good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they did a plan. Now, it wasn't exactly what ended up getting built out there, which is fine. That wasn't the point. The point is we had something to show.
I'm sure that makes anything what you're doing easier.
Right.
You got a master plan. Here's our master plan.
Not just to say, hey, look, I want to do a skate park. And they're like, where, what, how, we're going to do this.
I drew it on a
What's
napkin.
a skate park?
Yeah, what's a skate park?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that goes with anything you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And,
Why don't you just go to Aggies?
Yeah.
No. It's skate park.
Have a birthday, guy.
Right.
Have a birthday, fella.
Yeah, not that skate park.
Right.
So you mentioned Colorado and Florida. Does anything from there kind of like influenced you and you use in your planning and in what you're doing here?
Yeah, well, definitely. A lot of my focus, of course, was hospitality, the beach and island resort work. And then we also, of course, did larger scale community developments, residential subdivisions, commercial subdivisions. We did work for municipalities like the beach walk along A1A in Fort Lauderdale. So when I came back here, I'm starting to apply that, and I've seen, what communities like Fort Lauderdale, which, by the way, has an intercoastal waterway running through it.
It does.
But it looks a little bit different than the intercoastal waterway that we have here in Houma.
That it does.
I mean, some of the highest property values in the country are along that waterway.
Correct.
The guys like Wayne Huizinga, who owned the Marlins and the Dolphins. And, I mean, he started, I'm going to date myself, Blockbuster Video. For those of you who remember Blockbuster
There's
Video.
one left. I
There's
saw it the
one,
other day.
right.
There's one left.
But I saw what Fort Lauderdale did as a community to activate that waterfront. And even their downtown, for a period of time, they did not, they kind of turned their back on their waterfront, and in the late 90s and early 2000s, they totally opened it up. The local government did what it could do in terms of building the needed infrastructure, but then they also loosened local regulations and stuff, not in a bad way.
Right.
They loosened some,
necessary.
But then they might have added some others. But they did it to motivate and incentivize private industry and private development. And that's what we need to do here in Terrebonne, in Houma especially. I mean, we've got, a beautiful waterway and
right.
both in the Intercoastal and in Bayou Terrebonne and in all the other bayous too.
Yeah.
Historically, the community's turned their back on it. It's been their dumping ground. We still have, health issues and stuff like that with the water quality
It's very
in the
funny that
bayou.
you bring this up and mention this, if that's part of your focus, because last week we had Ryan Richard on the show, and we talked to him, and we asked him what he would like to see and be developed
Future
in that
home.
future home.
What
and
is
stuff
what
like
do
that.
you see?
And one of his things was to open up Bayou Terrebonne, and he would like to see his kids kayaking down the Terrebonne, Bayou Terrebonne or whatever, and focus more of the restaurants and the places that we have on Main Street, turn their focus not only on Main Street but on Bayou Terrebonne to utilize that.
That's right. I mean, we've, you have a few businesses that have done that.
And there's a lot of bars and stuff that along this bayou that can turn, you have a back deck, just kind of turn their focus, and we can make this a very beautiful thing. And not only Bayou Terrebonne, but what feeds into that is the intercoastal, and we have a great area down here by the hospital.
Yep.
A little further down.
dock
You have the marina. I mean, that's
area.
under my department. The Main Street program is the local branch of government or division of government that sort of maintains and monitors downtown. Now you have the Downtown Development Commission,
Correct.
which is a volunteer board
Correct.
appointed by the council. They work like
Hand in
like
hand.
that with
Yeah.
Main Street program. But Ann Piku, she's wonderful. She's our Main Street manager.
Does a fantastic job.
She does a great job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of good things to have around here, last winter we had the demonstration day.
Yep.
Give us a little bit about your thoughts
A little
on how
feedback
that
on
went,
that.
and what did you feel was the feedback from the community? You got the free songs?
Yes, I got the free zones.
That's
I really
good.
enjoyed it.
I had a good time with it.
Wasn't that fun?
I thought they had some
thought it was
really
really
great
good.
ideas.
What was your favorite thing about it? I know I'm gonna put you all on the spot. For a
No,
second.
it's easy. We're probably
It's
both going to
easy.
say the same.
It's easy. The spot behind Mahoney's and
Yeah.
Downtown
Joe.
Yeah.
That little street right there.
The
being
street should be closed off
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And hanging out, bands. You go sit down.
You have umbrellas like y'all had out with the, you could sit out
Mahoney's-
there.
Mahoney's, you could bring your beer outside. Yeah, Downtown Joe. I thought that was probably the coolest thing down there. Get a couple of food trucks over there. I like to cook. I like to eat.
Right. That was my
I mean,
favorite part too about it.
I
You
think
throw
that
a
was
couple
really
food
cool.
trucks, and I think it'd be rocking out.
Y'all gonna be very happy. Okay. That demonstration day. I mean, that style or that method, that strategy is something that has been effective all over the country. In Louisiana, I know downtown Baton Rouge did
Correct.
a major demonstration day on Government Street.
Right.
So I'm sitting through all these conferences and seminars, and I'm seeing all this come across, and so I'm learning all this, and I'm like, man, we need to do this here.
You got a perfect area for it.
Oh yeah, and so finally, I got the capacity in terms of staffing, and we were able to put it together. And Ann Piku again, together with Katie Tabor, she and of course an army of volunteers. Linda Henderson among them.
A lot went into that.
A lot of effort went into that.
Artwork everywhere.
The Arts Council, Bayou
behind
Regional
the
Arts
scenes
Council,
stuff that
a lot of planning. I mean, what was beautiful about that is for very little investment from the public dollar side, we were able to kind of experiment.
Create
It's a
something
real
different.
world experiment to see what works, what doesn't work.
Right.
Now,
That's
yes,
the whole purpose of the
Yeah.
demonstration.
Right.
yes, we closed down Main Street to one lane, and we dropped this big green mile bike lane on there. Now, does that mean that
Also like
that we
the
want to put
parking.
a bike lane on Main Street? Not necessarily,
You're just trying it out.
but we're just showing people what a bike lane looks like.
Right. What it could
The
be.
demonstration part
It's a
of this-
demonstration.
Yeah. I did like the parking.
And I
The
really
angle
like
parking.
the
angle
one
parking.
lane as well. I think that downtown should be a slow trafficked area.
Yep.
I think you shouldn't be going 25, 35. Some people go 45 miles an hour in front of this building.
You have to bring yourself back a little bit in time before the twin spans, Main Street and Park Avenue before the couplet. I mean, Main Street, it's a state highway. It has always been a through street,
Right.
and so we need to change that
The
to make
mindset.
it a destination. Now, truck traffic is a reality that we have to deal with. Because it's a state highway, we can't prohibit trucks, and not only that, but we have to allow trucks to be able to have the ability to come back to Main Street right out here so that they can
Service.
get onto the twin spans
Correct.
because they cannot go through the tunnel.
Correct.
Well, at least the hazmat trucks,
Right.
right? So that was a challenge, but that's something that I agree that I think transitioning down to one lane is something that we're absolutely looking to do.
Right. I think it's great.
The zipper, how you merge down into it, it was jacked up for demonstration day. I admit that,
Right.
because how else are we going to do it? I mean, it just has to be. But in reality, the angled parking that you saw, if you recall, Some of it was head-in, some of it was reverse.
Correct.
Right.
I love the reverse angled parking. It is the roundabout of parking.
Yes.
And when you really see
I
it
like
done
it too.
effectively, it works. But what we would do is, like, if you're coming down Main Street towards Lafayette, instead of having these merging lanes, basically what we would do is make that right lane a right turn only movement.
And then it disappears into.
And then it disappears. So you go from the left lane, and as you're crossing Lafayette, you just stay straight because the reverse angle
Right.
parking is on the courthouse side.
Right.
It's easier to park.
Easy to park.
I mean, who likes to parallel park?
No,
I mean,
not a lot of people.
I drive
No
a
one.
2-door Jeep. That thing is super narrow, and I'm still nervous about
Right. No one
parallel
wants to
parking.
parallel park.
If you back in, unless you're driving a Rolls Royce, Phantom, your doors are going to open, or a Lincoln, an old Lincoln Town Car with a suicide doors.
Or
Right.
a Crown Vic with Lambo doors
Yeah.
on it. You know what I'm saying?
Your doors open,
Customized.
and all your passengers and kids are kind of forced to come back towards
away
the
from the
sidewalk,
traffic.
not out.
That's a
And then when
great
you go to
that's a great
leave and
point
you're
on
putting stuff in the back of your SUV
You're not by
or in
the-
your trunk,
you're not by the truck.
you don't have cars going past your back like that. You're standing on the sidewalk safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome. I like the idea.
It's like game
Reverse
with the-
angled parking, like I
It's the
said,
way
is
to
a
go.
roundabout of parking.
I
And I
like
love roundabouts, by the way.
I do too, actually.
Yeah.
Look,
They're
I
so
think
much
that
easier.
the ones that are in town work real well.
The next one is Civic Center Boulevard and Val High. Okay, that's the next one
a
that's
good
going to
one.
get constructed. At
I
those
like
intersections.
roundabouts. I know a lot of people get nervous at roundabouts.
Once you figure it out, they
I-
work fine.
I feel
think.
sorry for you, but
Well, people still crash. I mean, that's going to happen. But the thing about roundabouts is the
Get
crashes are this
Minimal.
instead of this.
Right.
hey, just get in the circle and ride it. Let's go.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
use a couple
Rubbing
of
is
those
racing.
down on the back road down in the food
And
parish.
rubbing is racing. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess back to downtown though. So demonstration day.
What
We
was
did
your
a,
favorite part about it? I'm sorry for cutting you
well,
off, but I wanted to know
aside
what was
from the
your
smiles of the people's faces, one of the things that really, the slowing down of traffic was the one thing that I know a lot of people were happy about, and that made me happy. But I knew that was coming. But the colors, people said, "Man, I really loved all the colorful aspects of it."
vibrant. Just
Yeah, I mean the public art,
Yeah.
and all of that, and I think the Green Mile had something to do with it.
the Homer sign and all. Look,
Yeah, wasn't that cool?
that was super cool.
Yeah,
It made
Katie
it look,
and her dad built that on the weekends, like for months leading up to
It
that.
made it like look alive. I found like, hey, come check us out. Let's do something. Let's hang out, drink some drinks down there.
Him and I and Norm, and we all kind of enjoy, and I know probably everybody in this room. I really enjoy like live after 5 events. I really like live music. Anywhere I go, I try to go find live music. That's what I like about New Orleans. I like about Nashville, things like that. I like to find live music, and I like to enjoy the area that I'm in. Right. So we have that downtown area. The courthouse, in front of the courthouse, is a great area for events. We've done plenty of cook-offs in that area. Downtown Live After 5, Rougarou Fest, anything like that involves enjoying our outdoor local area, I'm all about. So I think we definitely need to encourage that, and I think having an area like that, I know y'all did, I don't know how involved you were with the new public parking area downtown.
A little bit,
That's
couple
great.
block away from
a couple
here or
blocks away from downtown Joe. That's great. Things like that, I really, really dig.
With downtown, I mean, during that whole event and the months after, we had a survey going. So we captured a lot of data, a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And so we have a pretty good idea of what the people really liked and what they didn't like.
Yeah.
And so what are we doing with that information now? So one of the things we're doing, of course, is working towards a full master plan for the entire Main Street corridor. And the demonstration day was just, a small portion, but in my mind, Main Street corridor begins at Morgan and ends at Grand Caillou Road at the Digville Bridge. So
I like it.
It doesn't stop at the Intercoastal.
No.
It doesn't stop at New Orleans Boulevard. It doesn't stop at Barrett. that's the corridor that we're going to study and put into this master plan. So the master plan will take into account what's there, both good and bad, new projects, planned projects, so we have something to talk about that people can point to, and so you don't have community meetings with people just kind of waving their arms and nothing really gets done.
Right.
I mean, just like with the skate park, it didn't happen until we have a plan. That's the same approach I'm taking with downtown.
Correct.
We got to have a plan. All those things require a lot of planning and a lot of effort from a lot of different groups. I mean, like government, for example, we need to do our part.
Yeah.
And our role is the infrastructure. We can do that Boulanger Street Park because, that's our local road. We can do like food trucks. Right now, you can't bring a food truck downtown in the historic district. Right? We've got to revisit those ordinances. Yeah. I understand.
I've actually looked into that because I've actually
2012 when they were put in place. Yeah, they might have made sense, but I think in my mind, I understand that there's concern amongst local restaurant owners that they're going to undercut me every time because they don't have overhead. But I think for the most part,
traffic downtown too.
Food trucks could be done like on certain times of the day or night when the restaurants aren't open. Like for example, you could have the ordinance revised to say, okay, food trucks can be within get rid of the 300-foot setback, but you can't open your food truck until after 9 p.m.
Which is fine.
Right.
If I had a food truck downtown, I wouldn't want to open till 9,
everything's
10
closed.
o'clock because I'm focusing on.
By then the restaurants are all shut down.
If they're not
So
closed,
they're not
just
competing. So demonstration day. I mean, we had a lot of good ideas come out of that. So one of the other big things you might remember is parking, not just the angled parking, but if you remember, we bagged all the meters.
Right, so no one had to pay to park.
Remember that?
You're removing the meters downtown?
Well, I'm going to drop this for the first time on your show.
Is this an exclusive?
This is an exclusive.
You heard it first, between the barrels.
Exclusive.
It's the Chris Pulaski.
Not for public consumption until right now.
Right. When this gets released, you'll hear it first.
Okay, so we're going to have another demonstration project. But it's going to be very focused.
I was going to ask you that too as well.
So what we're focusing on is the courthouse square itself. So I'm talking Main Street, Good Street, School Street, Church Street. We've been in discussions with companies, the big kiosks and the Park Mobile app.
Yes.
Okay, so that's two different companies.
Okay.
One company does the kiosks. One company does the Park Mobile app.
Really like that.
We've been talking with both of them, all right?
Uh-huh.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get two kiosks, and we're going to put them on either side of the courthouse square, basically where Boulanger Street comes in at. So opposite Downtown Joe, let's say, and opposite the
JL
Tanner.
Salon.
We're going to bag all the meters on that block.
Okay.
And Park Mobile is going to set us up with an app. Okay, and we're going to do angled parking, head-in angled parking, not reverse, head-in angled parking on the courthouse side of Good Street and on the courthouse side of Church Street.
Okay.
All right? We'll leave parallel parking on the other sides of those streets.
On the Joe and the salon side.
Right. Yeah. So you will have the option of going to that kiosk, which will accept coin or card, no cash.
No cash, right.
Now, you can print out your receipt and go walk back and stick it on your dash, which is annoying as hell. Or you can memorize or take a picture of your license plate and enter that license plate at that kiosk, and you're good. Now you're going to say, well, why can you do Park Mobile or the web? Well, this is something I just learned last week. Apparently, there are people that don't like putting apps on their phone. Now, I am not one of them. I have so many apps on my phone. When I got a new phone at the Verizon store, the gal said, "Oh, you got a lot of apps." Like, that's how many apps I have.
I have that many, but I got a lot.
No. You have a lot of categories. He has boxes full of apps. Like, this guy's the
No.
most apps I've ever seen.
That's what I have.
Y'all should, hey,
Yeah, I'm on
after
that.
this episode, we're going to see
I
what's the
want to
most
hug this
apps.
out. I want to hug.
Hey, we're going to post this on the
That's how many
comment
apps I have.
section. Who wins the most apps?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got, but I'm telling you, man, he's got a
I got
whole
full.
shit ton.
I got it
Yeah.
all organized.
And I heard this morning on the Today Show that the new update that Apple just released has
there's
an
a
app
whole-
library.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very curious
There's a
about
whole,
that.
and you can do widgets and photos. We'll
My
take
thing
off
is,
the
yeah. All right.
Let me ask you, 10 years, Chris Pulaski's dream downtown home, what would it look like?
It is a vibrant, active downtown. That's my dream. I live downtown. In my mind, I want to see families. I want to see downtown active.
That's
with,
very cool.
With not just a bunch of dinks, dual income, no kids, a bunch of dinks or what have yous, or
Right.
empty nesters. It needs to be families downtown.
Yeah.
And so how do we do that? I mean, we got to have all the things families need. I mean, we got the schools and all that, but we
Yes.
need grocery stores.
Yep.
We need all those other support things.
Parks, things.
Everything that, yeah.
Right, like
And,
the
and, and
Boulanger
it's,
Street Park
it's
will help
slowly
that out.
happening, but,
Right.
it's going to take...
I like that.
It's going to take something to really get it going. And so that's what my plan is to, from a government standpoint, is let's do what we can do and then pave the way for private investment and partner with private investment when necessary, but just pave the way for other things to come in.
Right.
I know Rouse's is now occupying that old Weatherford building up there, and they're moving their big
Right,
base
that's
of
gonna be a
operations.
big old,
I would
production
love
center.
to see Rouse's or any grocery store, but especially Rouse's because especially now because they're local in Terrebonne.
Yeah.
I would love to see them look at an
Little
area
family market or-
it doesn't have to be
You know how,
a supermarket. I mean, I know
Walmart
they're right
now has
across,
these marketplaces. Imagine a Rouse
Right.
marketplaces.
like a hybrid of
Like a
Rouse.
small little-
Yeah, they're right across
Right.
the tunnel on Grand Caillou Road.
Right.
So there's no need to repeat that.
No.
But just a modified
Like a little
Just like a little marketplace.
like the one in the quarter.
Yeah.
Right. We
Very
carry
good.
a couple of items, but if you need them, come right here. We got them.
Because look who you have in the parish. We don't have the biggest number of rooftops yet downtown, but look who you do have. We have the three largest employers in the parish. We have the hospital, government, and the courthouse.
Right.
Bang.
It's all right here.
And everybody, when you leave to go home, what do? You call home and say, hey, what do we
What do I
need?
get?
Eggs, milk, bread,
Right,
blah,
yeah.
blah,
Right.
blah.
Pick up some chicken.
What is something so like in that instance or anything like I'm interested in, downtown project, whatever. What is something I could do?
Well, number one is get
As a
involved
regular
with,
person,
we have volunteer groups that we need, whether we do community builds on playgrounds or we do bayou cleanups that's going to be happening like on October 3rd.
Yep.
There's a bayou cleanup right here.
Come to buy Terrebonne.
Wear your
Distillery.
There's a
shrimp
bayou
boots.
Terrebonne distillery with the shrimp boot cleanup and look at that. Look into that, y'all. That's going to be a lot of fun.
No, come here.
It's
We will all
Saturday,
be here.
October 3rd.
But that's something that's very important too. Events like that, downtown cleanups, organizations like you're talking about, get involved with places
Look,
down here. And,
we have parish-
you got and show up to things like that.
We have
downtown.
all kinds of parish boards and commissions and committees that are always in need of like the tree board. Right now, we got 3 openings. I mean, these are a lot of these are volunteers, so but some of them you actually get a per diem. Not all of them, but some of them do.
Right. But
If
you
you're
give back to the
interested,
community.
you need to contact your councilman,
Okay.
council person for your area, or contact me at my office. Look, my number is 985-873-6569. That's my
We'll have that at the bottom.
873-985-873-6569.
Yeah, like
Yeah. So put the ball.
Get some producer known to do.
But that's that's another thing that I know I wanted to talk about is just my perception, y'all, is there's just this apathy that I see in this community that really I think is one of the biggest challenges that I face is that people are just they just let the government handle it. I pay my taxes. The government should do it. And I agree with that because I pay those same taxes. So I agree with that in some ways. But I also understand from a local government standpoint, I see behind the curtain. All right.
Yeah.
I know what goes on. I mean, some people describe it, we're a $250 million corporation. That's our local budget, right?
Yeah.
It's roughly about $250 million a year. That's a lot of money. That's a
word for it.
lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Okay, but we got
But you got a lot of stuff to do.
We got 110,000 people. We got one of the largest parishes in the state. We got a lot of infrastructure. We got lots of levees and drainage and pump stations
Right.
and those kinds of things
Very
that
important
need to be
stuff.
built or
Maintained.
maintained.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. That money, it goes quick. Parish President Dove, I mean, obviously his big focus is on levees and drainage, and that's
He's doing
wonderful.
a great job with it.
He's doing an excellent job with it.
Fantastic job.
And that's his passion. You can
Right.
you can hear it in his voice when he talks
Yeah,
because he
he's
knows the subject matter really well.
Right.
Right.
And he knows if we don't do anything, Terrebonne
It's going to
Parish.
bite us in the.
But
you know
he
what?
also recognizes, the quality of life stuff. When President Claude was in office. Now I wasn't in the parish prior to Claude, so I can't speak for any of the other
Prior to
administrations.
him.
But Claude, his legacy, in my opinion, was a lot of transportation. Like he did a lot of new roads, and he also focused on a lot of quality of life stuff because he purchased that property, the Bayou Country Sports Park, and downtown as well. I mean, he obviously owned businesses and stuff downtown in the past, so he understood that too. So he propagated a lot of that kind of stuff. So Parish President Dove inherited a lot of those things, which, I would hope that one administration to the next, you inherit good things, right?
Yeah.
You inherit bad things too.
Right.
But
hey,
you
this
build
is what I
on
got
the
on
good.
the good things, and I'm going to fix
Right.
what else I think I
So-
should
You
fix.
built it on that.
So Dove has really built on the good, but
Protection.
so yeah, the levees and drainage are big, but he also totally supports the quality of life. I mean, when Parish President Claude was acquiring those properties for the Bayou Country, I mean that was done with capital outlay and
Yeah.
stuff like that, which at the time
Which he was a
Gordy
senator.
was state
Yeah,
rep.
yeah, a state rep, I'm
So,
sorry.
So he supported those projects.
Correct.
So yeah, same with the skate park. So he, there, right
was a
there.
team
demonstrated-
effort.
Yes.
Team
And
effort.
so, I don't want to, put them in competition with each other. It's
Well,
like
they both did great
Like
things.
he's a smart guy, and like most leaders, effective leaders know, you surround yourself with smart people,
Delegate.
and you build
Delegate.
yourself. Yeah.
Head coaches and all these good
And
Like
so-
my boy
assistant
Coach O
coaches.
does.
Exactly.
Delegate. Let him do it.
So Gordy, thank God, was smart enough to hire me as planning director. David Rome, public works director. I mean, there's some good people that we have working hard. And I know it's easy for the public to, government's lazy and the workers are lazy.
They don't
Look,
see what's happening, bro.
these people that I work with are some of the hardest working people that I've ever worked with, and they're consistently putting in, 85, 90 plus hour work
some
weeks
go-getters.
with no overtime.
Yeah.
Some of them, no overtime. The hourly people get overtime, but the salary people don't.
No.
Hard-working people. All in
Very.
this parish.
And we're doing really well, but, what we really need is you can't just expect the government to do it all for you.
Participate.
Need some participation
Other
from the
communities that I
public.
hear about all the time, like the Fairhope Alabamas of
Or
the
San
world.
Antonio.
I mean, they got a huge tax, and they got a massive volunteer base, and I mean, okay, you could talk about tax. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
all of our
Everybody
taxes
pays
are
tax.
perfect.
I mean, yeah.
But
We understand
what we
tax.
do need are people. It takes a village. I know that's cliche,
Yeah.
but
No,
it really
it
does.
does. It really does.
Let's face it. Some of the groups that have been community groups over the years, like the garden clubs and stuff like that, they're wonderful, wonderful people, and they do a great thing. But some groups that are necessary are the kind of groups that you got to get people out there, like doing the heavy lifting. And what I don't see is the Gen Xers and younger.
Right.
Like it, you know, especially the Gen Xers. By the way, y'all are all becoming empty nesters. I know, because all of our kids are going to school, so y'all got time now, and you got money.
Hey.
And so let's get active. I want to see y'all get active. I want to see the Gen Yers. I want to see the millennials get active, because it all, you know, we all need to get.
Right, everybody needs to contribute.
I mean, I'm tired of seeing the same old faces.
You can't sit back and say, you know, you can't sit back and complain about, hey,
I'm
we need
tired.
to do this, or they need to do this. No, we need to do it together.
I'm telling you, I'm tired.
Hey, teamwork makes the
I'm
dream
tired.
work. That's what,
I need some
Teamwork
help.
makes the dream
Right.
work.
That's
Here's
right.
some love for you.
One thing I do want to ask you about, and I think you and I talked about this before off air, but bikes.
Oh yeah.
The bike track
bike-
and all that stuff.
Bike trails and bike networks and detached.
There's a couple of them, I think.
There is a plan, believe it or not, that exists, and it's a regional bicycle and pedestrian plan, and it's constantly being updated, and we have plans for that. I will take the hit on it that I've been derailed from pushing that, because I've just been
getting tugged everywhere else.
and I've had some capacity issues, but we are looking to create detached trails that will connect, say, Civic Center to Bayou Country Sports Park along Val High, because that's a massive
Awesome.
right-of-way corridor that's underutilized. I don't know if, I mean, come on, you really think Val High is going to ever get 4-lane? No. So we're dropping.
Leave the bike lane.
We're dropping a 10-foot wide concrete path.
I like it.
To go from the skate park, library, civic center to the entrance to the sports park off of Val High.
That'd be
That
really
same
cool.
trail will tie into that trailhead that's currently along Val High. I've got a grant application currently under review from the state to actually not hard surface, but basically do like golf cart
Right.
on those off-road trails that we do have back there.
That'd be cool.
We want to also take, now that South Hollywood Road extension goes to South down Mandalay Road, we want to run a detached concrete sidewalk all the way to Mandalay Road, take a right turn, and tie it into Bayou Black's Community Park up the road.
That'd be really good.
And really start tying in. So
You want to have a pathway to.
Yeah. I mean, what we...
A lot of
Okay,
people
so
like to ride their bikes
a
and
lot
just
of the
get out
grants
and-
that are available focus on bikes as an alternative form of transportation. I'm sorry, but try as you must, that is not the bicycle community that we have here in
Recreation.
Terrebonne.
No, it's
It's
not
all
feasible.
wrecked. There are people who do ride their bikes as their only form of transportation. But the majority
Right.
is wreck.
Right.
And so, you know, sidewalks too. Though we need to do a better job of our sidewalks. I mean, you can't try and walk from downtown along Barrow Street or downtown along Lafayette Street to the library. Good luck. And you better run across 311.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, you might
My question would be, Chris Pulaski, favorite Cajun dish all time?
Okay, I'll have to say gumbo, chicken and sausage. And the
Okay.
reason I'm saying that is because having lived in Fort Lauderdale and Denver, I entered all of the gumbo cook-off contests that I could. All right?
It is one dish that you could cook anywhere. I cooked one in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska, and in the Arctic Circle, so you can cook it anywhere you want.
I failed miserably in the Fort Lauderdale cook-off, but I won the Denver cook-off.
That's what
and
I'm talking about.
the way I won
Take it.
is it was chicken and sausage, right? But I also took a pork ossobuco shank, right? And seared that first, and then dropped that in there so the marrow from that bone just
made this
infiltrated
flavor.
in
Write this
there.
down. No one write this menu down.
Video this so we can
Yeah.
watch it
Next
back
weekend
again.
in Manny's house.
Yeah, so I killed it. I won the whole contest.
Wow, that
So-
sounds phenomenal.
So you know that's
I like the
that's
chicken.
my dish.
It's very good.
Yeah.
We had
Traditional,
It
it's
that's
delicious.
actually here right now.
And I like
agree
it
with you, but
thick, Hershey brown gravy.
That's my man.
Yes.
I like it.
My wife and I, we butt heads
Dark.
on that
I
one.
love a dark
She's a blonde roux, like light
I like
and soupy.
a dark roux because it gives it so much more flavor.
Yeah, I want tick with 3C
Tick.
roux and dark.
Yeah.
Tick, dark.
And you put the sherry on top and all that. I think Melissa might. I'm sorry, babe, I love you, but I think her years as assistant principal at St. Francis, when they water down the gumbo to stretch it out.
Yeah.
I think that's
they made the roux and they're like, bring 20 gallons of water.
I think that
not even chicken stock. Bring
That's
water.
how
I think that's where it comes from.
Thick and dark, so I like that answer.
All right.
Yeah. Chad, hit
All right.
him with the important one, babe.
Here's my question. This is going to really let a lot of people know.
And I don't know what he's asking.
Right. Here we go.
We really didn't cover this with him.
Serious shit here, bro. Pedro, cutthroat, follow suit.
Oh my God!
You
Honestly,
know how to play Pedro.
it has been so long since I played
I forgot.
Pedro.
I'm sorry. You're not originally.
I mean, no.
You grew up from here, though. You should know.
I know, and I'm ashamed to say, it
You
comes
can
with
hang out with
practice.
producer Norm in the back.
In college,
Shave your head. And go
in college we played at high school and college we played a shit ton of that, but honestly, I haven't really sat down and played Pedro. Probably 15 years.
You want to play Pedro?
I see they're playing it right there.
Hey,
Well,
Yeah, let's go.
Just
But
tell him.
I don't know who you.
Just
You don't
tell
want me as your partner.
Hey, just tell him.
No, Noah's my partner.
Say, I play cutthroat. Say that.
Cutthroat.
Cutthroat's fine. And you know what else? The
I know.
Pedro's the serious.
I'm going to
question.
defer to my legal counsel on that. What should I say? Cutthroat.
See,
Cutthroat.
told you. Thank you.
The only other thing too we didn't ask him is, you drink tonight?
Yeah, what you drinking? I think it's an old papa.
Old Papa.
Old papa.
Old
It's
Papa.
a favorite here.
And that's
The-
another
the-
for my wife.
distillery.
I know she and her family, they love old fashions. Their Papa Maurice Rome, drink old fashions.
There you go.
And I'm telling y'all, all y'all Romes, this is awesome.
The old papa's
You
All
gotta
of
try
y'all,
this.
y'all just come on down.
We drinking Manny
Come on
Freshest.
Made it fresh as
Thanks
always.
to Manny. And thanks
Well,
to
Mr. Chris, I appreciate it very much for
Appreciate
coming
you,
down.
sir.
Guys,
And,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, this was a blast. And like I said, you're gonna
can't wait to have you back on.
because I got
Happy
way
to.
more questions, and I'm
Right.
guarantee you there will be some questions in the comments when we post this one because this was
Yes, sir.
This,
This
was
is
really
good.
good.
Informative.
Next week, who we got? We got.
We got Mr. Earl.
That's right, Mr. Earl Hughes with
He is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
yeah, my emergency action
Yeah.
man. I like it.
Emergency Preparedness for
Yeah.
Terrebonne Parish. I'm not sure of the exact title, but Noah give us
He
that
is
in
the
bio.
director of Homeland Security
Yep.
and Emergency Preparedness. And let me tell y'all,
He's a very important dude.
that guy has we just came off of Sally, right? Thank goodness that we didn't have to deal
Yeah.
with that.
Mustang Sally.
Unfortunately, our neighbors to the east did. But I'm telling y'all, I've seen the Emergency Operations Center evolve into this
Pretty cool.
well-oiled machine that Earl has set up.
That's pretty cool.
about them buildings?
And Parish President Dove even said it. When we had our Sally meeting Monday morning, he said, you know what? No, I'm sorry, this is Laura. He said, I hate to say this because, we hate it every time it happens.
Yeah.
Right.
But he said, what I have witnessed is how quick things come together faster and faster every time.
Well, I
And
will
that
have
is
to
Right.
say
hands
Together.
down Earl and his
I'm
crew.
very excited about having him on. One
Yes.
for that for what he does for Terrebonne Parish, but also I'm not going to talk too much about it. But he's a very good friend of mine.
He's
and
a
when
big
a storm
LSU fan.
when a storm comes, I send him a text. Hey, how bad is this going to be? And he tells me, hey, don't worry about it. And thank you, Mr.
One
Earl,
more
for-
too before we go. Tigers record this year. Know you're an LSU fan.
Gosh.
Undefeated.
Negative.
All right. He said it here. 15-0. All right. Good deal.
All right.
All right,
Thank
Manny.
You once again for
Thank you,
coming
Chris.
on.
We
Really
appreciate it. Everybody, see us next time with Mr. Earl.
We out.